Alrighty, guys, the Yankees take on the Rangers game one. And that's going to be a 2:05 Eastern first pitch on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. Happy birthday, Mom. I'm sure she's not watching, but it's my mother's birthday today. Now, both teams are minus $110, total 7. Spencer Howard for Texas, Jameson Taillon for New York. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video here today. My name is Brock Page, and I've been doing sports picks for free right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And I'm 6-3 with a push on my last 10 Major League Baseball tier package bets on that website. Now, the link for my site is in the description section below. And just remember, guys, if you sign up for my MLB tier package bet, you're going to get access to all the cheaper memberships on my website absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. Now, guys, Jameson Taillon looks to finish out the regular season strong. He's 14-5 with an ERA in the 3s. He's also struck out 146 batters and has a 1.11 whip. When it comes to hitting the baseball, the Yankees are leading the majors in home runs per contest. They're facing Spencer Howard, who's given up his fair share of runs himself. The righty's got himself an ERA in the 7s, along with a 1.73 whip. Now, when it comes to making contact with the baseball, this Ranger lineup strikes out more times a game at the plate than most clubs in the American League. When it comes to the total in this one, the Rangers are 60% to the over in all of their contests at Globe Life Field. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the... Are we leaning toward the Yankees here? Yeah. I'm going to lean toward the Yankees minus $110 over 7. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Nationals-Mets game 1. And that's going to be a 4:10 Eastern first pitch in Flushing, Queens. The New York Mets are minus 265, total 7. Taijuan Walker for New York, Paolo Espino for Washington. Now, Paolo's still in search of his first win of the season. He's pitched 113 innings, and he's yet to record a W. Matter of fact, Espino's 0-8 on the season with an ERA in the 4s. This Nats lineup has also had a tough time producing runs. They're in the bottom 5 in the league in scoring on average per contest. They're facing Taijuan Walker, who's had a solid season for New York. He's 12-5 with a 3.59 ERA. When it comes to hitting the baseball, the Mets have the highest team batting average in the National League. Pete Alonso's leading the majors with 131 ribbies on the year. Now, when it comes to the total, 8 out of New York's last 10 outings did get over the number. They're also 65% to the over in their divisional home games. I'm going to lean toward the Mets minus 1.5 over 7 in game 1. Next ball game, Tigers-Mariners game 1. And that's going to be a 6:10 Eastern start time. Seattle's minus 155, total 7. Marco Gonzalez for Seattle. Eduardo Rodriguez for Detroit. Now, Ed-Rod's got a 1.34 whip, along with an ERA in the 4s. This Detroit lineup of hitters, they've also been putrid all season long. They're dead last in scoring, dead last in home runs. They're facing a Mariner team who's actually done a nice job hitting for power. These guys are in the top 10 in home runs. And they're led by Eugenio Suarez, who has 31 bombs on the year. Now, total-wise, this game's being featured as my extra daily bet on my website. So if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the over or the under in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my extra daily bet on patreon.com/BrockPage. And it's only going to cost you just $2.99. Now, as an added bonus here, guys, if you sign up for my extra daily bet here today, you're going to get access to my daily best play absolutely free. It's going to be included with your purchase. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean towards Seattle minus 155 in game 1. Next matchup, Royals-Guardians, 6:10 p.m. East. Cleveland's minus $185, total 7.5. Cal Quantrill for Cleveland, Daniel Lynch for Kansas City. Now, Danny Lynch is just 4-12 on the year, and he has an ERA dangerously close to 5. When it comes to hitting the baseball, the Royals have had a tough time scoring runs on the road. These guys are in the bottom 10 in runs per contest away from home. They also have to face Cal Quantrill, who's been outstanding this season. Quants has a 14-5 record, along with an ERA in the threes. When it comes to hitting at the plate, the Guardians are the hardest team in the majors to strike out. Jose Ramirez is third in the bigs in RBI with 122 of them. When it comes to the total, Cleveland held Kansas City to just 3.8 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings. Meanwhile, Danny Lynch saw his last 3 straight starts all fall under the total. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland minus 185, under 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Cardinals-Pirates, 6:35 East. This game's currently off the board. JT Brubaker for Pittsburgh, Dakota Hudson for St. Louis. Now, the Cards have gone 47-27 in their divisional games this year. Of course, that's good for a .635 win percentage in that category. And when it comes to these clubs' last 10 head-to-head meetings, the Cards are averaging nearly 5.5 runs a game. Paul Goldschmidt's amongst the major league leaders in just about everything. He's in the top 5 in batting average, RBI, and OPS. He's facing JT Brubaker here today, who's 3-12 on the year, with an ERA in the 4s. As a matter of fact, the Buccos have gotten the W in just 1 out of their last 11 Brubaker starts. Now, one of Pittsburgh's biggest issues has been their bats. They're dead last in the National League in team batting average. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis winning this one outright for some money line cash. Next ball game, it is going to be Cubs at the Reds, 6:40 p.m. East. Now, both teams are minus $110, totals 8 runs. Luis Cessa for Cincinnati, Javier Assad for the Cubs. Now, unfortunately, guys, this is another one of those games I can't give out for free. It's being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my website. But the good news is, guys, this game's only going to cost you just $1.99. And the link for my site is in the description section below. So if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the money line, run line, or total in that one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my $1.99 daily best play on patreon.com/BrockPage. Next ball game, little NL East action. I'm talking about the Braves at the Marlins, 6:40 p.m. East. Now, this game's currently off the board. Braxton Garrett for Miami, Jake Odorizzi for Atlanta. Now, Jake's just 1-3 on the year with the Braves with a .566 ERA. Atlanta's also struggled with the run line here recently. They failed to cash in on the run line in 4 out of their last 7 road games. Now, they're facing a Miami squad on the other side of things who actually got the W in 3. They won their last 3 straight. And they also posted a record of 7-3 straight up in their last 10. And despite his current record, Braxton Garrett's actually pitched pretty well for the Fish. He comes into today's ballgame with a .356 ERA and a 1.19 whip. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Miami plus 1.5, getting the job done for some money line cash. Run line cash. Next matchup, it is going to be Blue Jays-Orioles, 7:05 East. Now, both teams are minus $110, pretty much a coin flip in this one. Total 7.5 runs. Mike Baumann for the O's, Mitch White for Toronto. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Toronto did see their last 5 straight Mitch White starts all get over the number. They're also 42-32 to the over against the AL East this year. Meanwhile, Baltimore saw overs in 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Toronto. When it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my board member tier package bet on my website. So if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the money line or run line in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my board member tier package bet on my website. And just remember here, guys, if you sign up for that package here today, you're actually going to get access to all my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean toward the over 7.5 in that game. Next matchup, it is going to be Rays-Bo Sox, 7:10 p.m. East. Tampa Bay is minus $120, total 7.5. Jeffrey Springs for the Rays, Nathan Eovaldi for Boston. Now, the Nate Dogs 5-3 on the year with a 1.26 whip. This Boston lineup has also done a nice job of hitting at Fenway. They're in the top 3 in home hits, and they're also led by Xander Bogaerts, who's hitting .305 at the dish. Meanwhile, teammate Rafi Devers, he also has 27 homers and 88 runs batted in. Now, they're facing a Tampa team on the other side of things who actually lost their last 3 straight, and they also dropped 7 out of their last 9. And, of course, during that stretch I just mentioned, the Rays averaged only 1.2 runs a game in those losses. And when it comes to the number, the Rays saw overs in 2 out of their last 3 Jeffrey Springs starts. Meanwhile, the Red Sox went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Boston plus $1, over 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Diamondbacks at the Brewers, 7:40 p.m. East. Arizona is the $1.15 favorite on the road, total 7 runs. Zach Gallen for the D-backs, Eric Lauer for Milwaukee. And right in the heart of a wild card chase, the Brewers, come on, man, spit it out. In the middle of a wild card chase, the Brewers dropped 5 out of their last 8. They've also had problems making contact with the baseball. These Milwaukee hitters, are in the bottom 3 in strikeouts per game at home. They're facing Zach Gallen, who's been awesome this year for the D-backs. He's 12-3 with an ERA of 2.46. Gallen's also struck out 186 batters and has a .89 whip. And even though the D-backs didn't hit all that great this year, they did manage to find ways to get on base. They were actually in the top 10 in the league in road walks per contest. Christian Walker, he's also hit a bunch of homers for Arizona. He's 7th in the league with 36 bombs. When it comes to the scoring in this one, 5 out of the D-backs' last 7 road games did get over the total. I'm going to lean toward Arizona minus $1.15, over 7. Next matchup, Nats-Mets game 2, 7:40 Flushing, Queens. Now, game 2 is currently off the board, and as far as I saw, there's no confirmed starters yet for either team in game 2 as well. But regardless of who throws out the first pitch, we're still looking at a Mets club who's been dominant within the division. They're 23-11 against the NL East at home. And pitching-wise, well, they've held Washington to under 3.7 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings. Now, the Nats on the other side, they have the worst record in the majors right now. They're also allowing more runs per game on the road than any other club in the bigs. I'm going to lean toward the New York Mets winning game 2 outright for some money line cash. Next matchup, Yankees-Rangers game 2, 8:05 p.m. East. The New York Yankees are the $1.75 favorite on the road, total 7 runs. Garrett Cole for New York, Johnny Gray for Texas. Now, Gray's actually had a pretty solid year for the Rangers. He's got an ERA in the 3s along with 131 strikeouts. He also has himself a 1.15 whip. When it comes to hitting the baseball, the Rangers are still a threat to hit the long ball despite their recent struggles. Texas is currently in the top 10 in homers, and they're led by Corey Seager, who's got 33 home runs on the year. Meanwhile, Nate Lowe, he's the club leader with a .300 batting average. Now, they're facing a Yankee team on the other side of things who they really haven't scored many runs in recent meetings with Texas. New York's averaging less than 3.8 runs a game in their last 10 ball games against the Rangers. When it comes to the scoring in this one, oddly enough, New York did see overs in their last 5 Garrett Cole starts. Meanwhile, Texas has gone 47-31 to the over at Globe Life Field this year. I'm going to lean toward the Rangers plus 1.5, over 7 in game 2. Next matchup, it is going to be Twins at the White Sox, 8:10 p.m. East. That is game 2 as well, right? No, just one game for these guys. Anyway, Twins, White Sox, 8:10 p.m. East. Chicago's minus $1.25 at home, total 7.5. Lucas Giolito for Chicago, Josh Winder for Minnesota. And even though Winder's got a losing record, he does come into today's ball game with a 1.25 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Twins do have a winning record against AL Central opponents. Luis Arias leads the franchise with a .315 batting average. He's actually fourth in the bigs in that category. They're facing a Chicago team who's been little threat hitting the long ball this year. Chicago's in the bottom 10 in home runs per contest. Now, they're also in the bottom 3 in walks per 9 at the dish. And if you think Lucas Giolito is going to keep him in it here today, just keep in mind he's got an ERA in the 5s, along with a 1.47 whip. Now, when it comes to the total, Chicago's gone 63% to the over in their last 16 Giolito starts. Meanwhile, Josh Winder saw 2 out of his last 3 starts get over the number himself. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota plus 1.5, over 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Phillies Astros, 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's minus 185, total 7. Justin Verlander for the Stros, Rangers Suarez for Philadelphia. And even though Suarez has been solid, he does come into today's game with a 1.30 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Phillies took the loss in 4 out of Suarez's last 6 starts. They averaged only 3 runs a game in those losses. Now, they're facing Justin Verlander on the other side, who's 17-4 with an ERA of 1.80. Now, the righty's also got 175 strikeouts and a .85 whip. And even if Verlander doesn't pitch well, the Astros have been really tough at the plate this year. They're in the top 5 in home runs, and they've been the second toughest team in the majors to strike out at the dish. Now, Yordan Alvarez, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. He's been this team's star with 37 homers, and he's currently second in the bigs in OPS. Now, total-wise, this game's actually being featured as my MLB tier package bet on my website. Where once again, guys, I'm 6-3 with a push on my last 10 plays in that package, of course. That's good for 67% during that span. So if you want to see whether I'm pounding the over or the under in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my MLB tier package bet on my website. But as far as making a free pick is concerned with this ball game here, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Houston minus 185, getting the job done for some money line cash. Next matchup, it is going to be Angels at the Athletics, 9:40 p.m. East. The LA Angels are minus 135, total 7. Michael Lorenzen for LA, Cole Irvin for Oakland. Now, Irv comes into today's game with a 9-13 record, along with an ERA in the 4s. Now, this Oakland lineup's also been one of the worst in baseball. They're dead last in team batting average, dead last in OPS. Now, they're going to have to face Michael Lorenzen here today, who's 8-6 on the year. Now, these Angels pitchers as a whole, they've actually done a real nice job with Oakland this season. They've held the A's to under 2.9 runs a game in their last 10 meetings. When it comes to the number, LA went 60% to the under in their last 10. They also saw unders in 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Oakland, so if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to lean toward the Angels, minus 135, under 7. Next ball game, it is going to be Tigers-Mariners Game 2. That's going to be a 9:40 Eastern first pitch. That game's currently off the board. Chris Flexen for Seattle, Garrett Hill for Detroit. Now, Hill's had a pretty good season here for the Tigers. He's got himself an ERA of 3.84. Meanwhile, as a team, the Tigers won their last 3 straight. And they also got the W in 11 out of their last 13 ball games. This Detroit pitching staff has also done a real nice job on the road, believe it or not. These guys currently find themselves in the top 10 in fewest hits per game while traveling, fewest hits allowed per game. They're facing a Seattle club who has had their issues getting hits at T-Mobile Park. These guys are in the bottom 3 in the league in home hits per contest. They also have Chris Flexen on the mound here today, who's got himself a losing record and a 1.32 whip. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Detroit plus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash in Game 2. Next ball game, Giants Padres, 9:40 p.m. East. San Diego's minus 145, total 7. Sean Manaea for San Diego, Carlos Rodon for San Francisco. Despite a solid year for Rodon, the Giants have lost 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they really struggled in divisional play this year. San Francisco went just 14-22 this season in their divisional road games. And that's good for a win percentage of just .388 in that category. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Giants struck out a whole lot of times this season. They're actually in the bottom 5 in strikeouts at the dish. They're facing Sean Manaea, who's fanned 150 batters this season himself. The Pods also have a .600 win percentage in their divisional home games. Manny Machado's got 32 homers and 101 ribbies. He's 9th in the bigs in that RBI category. When it comes to the total, 6 out of San Diego's last 7 ball games at Petco Park stayed under the number. Meanwhile, San Francisco saw 4 out of their last 8 Rodon starts stay under the total. I'm going to lean towards San Diego, minus 145, under 7. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Rockies at the Dodgers, 10:10 Eastern first pitch. LA's minus 360, total 7.5. Julio Urias for Los Angeles, Ryan Feltner for Colorado. Now, Felty's 3-9 with an ERA in the 6s. When it comes to offensive production, the Rockies are averaging fewer runs a game on the road than any other club in the major leagues. They're facing Julio Urias, who's got 17 wins on the season with an ERA of 2.12. Now, Urias has also punched out 162 batters, and he has a stingy .96 whip. And even if Urias has an off day, well, teams rarely outscore the Dodgers. These guys are leading the league in runs per game and OPS. Freddie Freeman's in the top 5 in the bigs in OPS at the dish and batting average. Meanwhile, Mookie Betts, he has the most home runs on the team. When it comes to the scoring, LA saw overs in 4 out of their last 7 at Dodgers Stadium. They're also averaging nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Colorado. Meanwhile, the Rockies saw overs in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Dodgers, minus 1.5, over 7.5. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our quick pick recap. I like the Yankees minus $1.10 over 7 in Game 1, right? Yeah. Give me the Yankees minus $1.10 over 7 in Game 1. I like the Mets minus 1.5 over 7 in Game 1. Give me Seattle minus 155 in Game 1. I like Cleveland minus 185 under 7.5. Give me St. Louis getting the job done for some money line cash. Now, I have no free pick for the Cubbies-Reds game. That contest is being featured as my daily best play on my website. Give me Miami plus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash. I like the over 7.5 in the Toronto-Baltimore game. Boston plus $1, over 7.5. Arizona minus $1.15, over 7. I like the Mets getting the job done for some money line cash in Game 2. I like Texas plus 1.5 over 7 in Game 2. Give me Minnesota plus 1.5 over 7.5. I like Houston minus 185, getting the job done for some money line cash. Give me the Angels minus 135 under 7. Give me Detroit plus 1.5 in Game 2. I like San Diego minus 145 under 7. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward the Dodgers minus 1.5 over 7.5. With that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/RockPage.